It's your pop culture retro gaming headquarters, Cash In Culture. They bring the morning sports report to you here at TribLIVE.com. Ken Laird, Guy Junker. You've got to go retro to remember a Steelers-Browns rivalry that mattered, Guy. But then again, it's week one. It all matters, right?
Yeah, well, like Mike Tomlin said the other day, if you can't get excited for an opener, when can you get excited for it? I think it's a good one to let the Steelers kind of ease into the season. No disrespect to the Browns. They're obviously the weakest team in the division, and a home game to start against them. I mentioned yesterday the Steelers have lost 3 straight openers. They haven't lost 4 straight openers in their entire history.
Is there a chance they'll lose a fourth? What scares you the most from this Cleveland side of the
I guess
hill?
their defense. If the Steelers struggle offensively, Ken, and the score stays low, I don't expect Cleveland's offense to be able to do a whole lot. Hoyer got him off to a nice start last year. The loss of Josh Gordon, I think, really takes away a big threat. They got Tate now at running back, a little different than last year. But if the Browns are in this game, I think it'll be 14-10. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game anyway. I could see the Steelers blowing them out, or winning or losing a low-scoring game. But I don't see the Browns scoring a lot of points.
10 straight wins for the Steelers at home against Cleveland. They've lost a couple of this team, but it's mostly been on miserable nights by the lake. But we've seen Pittsburgh capable of losing games they shouldn't lose in years past. Again, mostly on the road, but Oakland, the Jets, that awful Houston game that's over a decade ago now.
I think there's a lot of things, intangibles right now that I like about the Steelers. Yesterday's practice was as spirited as one as I've watched in a while. I mean, just with guys hooting and all. They practiced a half an hour longer than they were supposed to, and it wasn't, sometimes when those practices start dragging beyond the expected end time, you see guys dragging or looking around, waiting for the horn or whatever. They were hooping and hollering and really into it. And I don't know if Ike said this on his radio show this week or not, but he said to me yesterday, I said, is this the biggest turnover in starters on a defensive unit since you've been here? And he started thinking, he said, since my first year, he said, we were 5 or 6 new starters, including me that year, and we went to the Super Bowl. And he says, I'm getting the same feeling of closeness. He says, usually the closeness on a team develops with guys that have been there 3 to 8 years. He said, these young guys on this team have really kind of attached themselves well. So it was yesterday. I had a very positive vibe. Well, and I also think the other end, they really realized that they could have been in the playoffs last year if they won one game in the month of September. They do not want to get off to. So I think
2 years in a row.
All those things. Well, they didn't go 0-4 the year before that, though.
But one more win.
Right, one more win.
2 years ago.
But I mean, last year, they finished strong. I don't think they have all the answers. I don't look at this as a Super Bowl team or whatever. I think the defense is too young, and the offense has question marks. But I think they're questions that can very easily be answered. They're just pieces of the puzzle that we haven't really had a chance to watch yet.
They've turned over 60% of the roster in 2 years.
Well,
so,
when you're 16-16 the last 2 years, that's good news, I think, don't you?
Yeah. Maybe that's the breath of fresh air they're feeling. And Cleveland, they've got to be feeling good about the history here. So I think that all seeps into it. The problem is they didn't finish the preseason real well.
Yeah.
So if they put that out of their minds, good. Not a strong finish.
The preseason game you would look at the most is the third, and that was right the day after the 2 guys got arrested. And I think that was the best team that they played, and it was the worst circumstances that they had. So I still even look at that one with a little bit of a skewed glance.
Could be a devastating loss if Cleveland comes up, of course. Steelers win, though, and could buoy them in the other direction. So, pivotal game, week 1. We'll be on it all week here at TribLIVE.com, all brought to you by Cash and Culture. 4 great locations in Western PA.